your season of trials will come to an end, and you will move into a season of harvest, because you will always reap what you sow. And if you've been diligent and obedient in sowing, and you've been asking God, like, why have I not seen my breakthrough? Why is this taking so long? What am I doing wrong? What's going on? You have to remember, even back in the Bible, I think it was Daniel, when he was praying, the angel that was sent was stuck in a battle on his way to answer his prayer, and the prayer got delayed, but he didn't stop praying. He kept fervently praying and speaking and believing every single day, day in and day out. And that's why your faith must be your currency. It must be the thing that you hold on to, and not just faith in anything. It's got to be your faith rooted and grounded in what the Bible says. And when you keep moving forward and you keep moving, even if it's a day, a moment at a time, even if you're used to planning out your week and your month, and you're like, well, I can't plan because I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know what's going to happen. Just move moment by moment. Just one moment at a time. And when you do this, it actually allows you to stay present. It allows you to stay really, really close. You know, Jesus says, stay close to me. Stay on the vine. Like, stay connected, stay rooted. Because as you grow in your faith, you know, the goal isn't to have a life of independence from God. The goal is to be dependent on Him. And when we've been so wired and so taught to do everything ourselves, to plan, to figure it out, to budget your life, to, you know, you put all these things in order. Maybe you have a type A personality like me, and so you just love order. You love being in control. You love when you know what's going to happen. You schedule things out. Sometimes you have to be willing to let go a little bit, because God's plans could be different. Now, He could be the one who, you know, instilled that in you, but that doesn't mean that should be the only thing controlling your life. Faith in itself is like, it's feels scary, because you're like, well, I can't tangibly grasp onto this. I don't know what the next season's gonna bring. The Bible says that faith is actually a substance. It's a substance. So it is the thing of what you're hoping for. It turns into the substance, so you can grab a hold of it. So you can reach out and say, no, I'm putting my, you know, my trust into what God says I can have, and go back to the Word. What does He say you can have? What does He say He's going to do? He's going to give you life abundantly. He says He wants you to prosper as your soul prospers. He says His plans for you are good. He's going to direct your steps. He's going to be with you in the valleys. You know, and a lot of times we get so arrogant and egotistical and self-absorbed that I did it. We take the glory for ourselves. And when the Bible says that God is a jealous God, it's not like jealousy, like, oh, well, you're, you know, a jealous husband and wife or something. It comes from such a deep place of love and loving you, that He doesn't want to share His glory with other people. So if you are taking all the glory and you're saying, well, I did this, look what I did, you know, that's a lot of the self-manifestation. And there is some truth to, you know, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So obviously there's some truth to that. Really, it's just reaping what you're sowing. You know, it's not, oh, I'm amazing, self-manifestation. It's reaping what you're sowing. So He wants the glory, though. If you're taking the glory for yourself and you're saying, I did this, look at me, look at what I have, look what I built, look how great I am, you know, and your whole life becomes about exalting yourself, your kingdom's going to fall. The kingdom that you're building on yourself is going to fall eventually. And so He wants you to be at a humble place. This doesn't mean being like feeling like you're a loser, you know. And a lot of times we get to a humble place, and that's what happens. The devil comes in and tells you all of those things, like, look what you didn't do, look what you could have done better, you know, you're not worth it, and then that puts you in a mode of working towards feeling like you have to work, to get love. You have to work. You got to prove yourself. You got to do better. And a lot of times people are taught that way, that if they get good grades when they're kids, if they do their chores, if they do this, then their parents, will love them, and will show the appreciation and the love. And then they link the two as they get older, that, if I do more, then I'm going to feel that love more or whatever. And that's just not the case. God loves you no matter what. He has these things in place because it's for your benefit. Just like if you put the things in place for your child, say, don't run in the middle of the road with this, it's for their benefit. You're putting guidelines and boundaries up and rules in the house for their ultimate benefit that they may not understand at the time. So don't fight it if God's putting up boundaries, or he's putting up restrictions, or he's trying to get you to change, because you're running out of time, basically. Like, we're running out of time. And I think that's the biggest lie that people believe, is that they have more time than they do. People always think, I have more time. I'll do it later. I'll start later. I'll start at the first of the year. I'll start eating healthy. I'll start changing my ways then. No, you have to start now. Like, you may not have a month. You may not have 6 months. You have to start now. Like, right now, today, at this moment. Make the decision, write it down. This is the connection between making that decision and writing it down. You're putting it in writing, and you are don't go back on it. Burn the ship of the past. Say, I'm going to do this, whatever it is that's holding you back. I'm going to make this change. This is it. It ends with me now. I'm going to make this move now. I'm going to move into action now. I'm not going to wait till the perfect time. I'm not going to wait till everything's lined up. Figure out, what can you do right now? What can you do? What moves can you make? It might be as simple as get your home clean. Get that closet clean. Purge the junk. Get the garage handled. Okay, maybe it's too cold to do the garage, but what can you do now? Throw away the old expired food. Stop buying the junk. If you have a sweet tooth and you're so, you don't have self-control when it comes to sweets, then, well, I do grocery delivery now because of that. Well, that's one of the reasons. I would go into the store, man, I would just, it didn't matter if I was hungry or not hungry, be like, I have to maximize my trip going into the store. Ooh, this looks good. And I would buy extra things. And I actually saw a picture of my pantry back in 2022. I'm like, man, we had cookies and crackers and, all kinds of chips and cereals and baking mixes and just all this processed food. Now I do grocery delivery, and I'm not tempted because I'm not in the store being tempted. That's one of the benefits of online shopping or online delivery, because when you're in the store, it's so much more tempting. The music and the whole, it looks good. Oh, this is so great. You're not even thinking about, this is why vacations can be so tricky, because when people are on vacation, they're like, I'm on vacation. So it doesn't matter what they spend, because they're like, well, I'm on vacation. I'm gonna make it worth it. We're at Disney. Who cares if this soda's $20, this bottle of water's $10, because you're on vacation. So your budget goes out the window. Basically everything goes out the window, because you're on vacation and you're justifying it once in a lifetime for the experience, for the memories, or going to spend the money on something. And then you get home and you realize, I jacked up my credit card for that trip. Oh my God. And you start looking at, everybody does it. You start looking at the receipt and you're like, where we ate out for lunch was $200, $300 for dinner, for 3 people or 4 people or whatever. This whole day costs $1,500. It's insane. So make the changes. And if you're not willing to sacrifice for a year, I always tell people this, if you're not willing to pull back for a year to get things in order, then you don't deserve it. Because you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to say no to some of those things if you want to say yes to the life of freedom that you want, the life that you want. You got to say no to the everyday going to Starbucks for that sugared fat coffee if you want to have a nice body. It is what it is. You have to say no to alcohol for a period of time if you want to get your health in order, if you want to detox your liver, if you want to get your hormones in order, if you want to lose weight, if you want to build muscle. Alcohol is the worst thing. It is the worst thing. And this is why a lot of times people don't make those decisions around the holidays, because the holidays are hard with parties and champagne, and I get it. So maybe after the new year you can do the alcohol part. if you enjoy the social drinking. But there's always things you can start doing now, like maybe a 10-minute walk around your house every day in the morning. Morning light is so good for your body. Even I need to remember to do this because I've got a habit of waking up and I get the home in order and I put on music and light a candle and I clean. Really, I should just get up, leave that, and go do a 15-20 minute walk, because the sun wakes up your cells. And if you do that with an electrolyte drink or salt, it's so good for your body. You really want that sun on your torso and your face. Don't put any sunblock on for that 10 minute, 15 minute in the morning before 10 a.m. And just let the sun awaken your body. Some of the things I do though that help is we don't have a TV. Without a TV, we're not tempted to watch junk. You're not distracted. It's not on in the background. So we don't have a TV. We're also living in quite a smaller place right now for the time being while we get other areas in life in order. Is it ideal? Not really, but God has blessed us beyond belief. And so we are using the opportunity to reposition ourselves. You have to be willing to do that. If you need to downsize for a period of time to reposition yourself, that's okay. It's all part of life's process. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. Oh, you're this or that. Honestly, people probably admire it more than anything. They won't tell you because they're like, man, and even if they don't, who cares? Because you'll come out ahead if you utilize that year or that time better. So we don't have a TV. We also just do grocery delivery. We turned in our car lease and decided to pause on leasing another car for the time being, because we live in a place. It's different if you're in the snow or you can't walk to places, or you're in the country, but we live in a place where you can walk or Waymo anywhere. And if you haven't done Waymo, it's really cool. But you can just do that anywhere. And so we decided, let's pull back on that for the time being. And actually, I thought it was going to be like 3-4 months. It's been almost a year. And there's only been like 1 or 2 inconvenient times where I was like, oh, I could use a car to get to this place or whatever. But we live in such a beautiful place that we could walk everywhere. So you're utilizing the positioning that you're in to rebuild or build or reposition or get things in order. When there's order in your life, wealth flows. Okay, when there's disorder and chaos, it's not an environment or an atmosphere for wealth to flow in, because it's too chaotic. It's too messy. There's too many things going on. You have to bring it in. You have to streamline the process. Streamline your to-do list. Say no to the immediate, gratification things, so you could say yes later. Now, again, this might be a little difficult to do around the holidays because you're buying gifts for people and you're probably eating I'm buying gifts and I'm eating pie, and I'm enjoying baking and we're just enjoying it. But that's because I work my butt off all year and I'm very, very more strict in my diet, and this is the time of year that I like to enjoy. You have to have some times where you feel like a kid. You enjoy life, you have fun. Like, have fun decorating the tree. Put on the fun Christmas pajamas. Put on the Christmas music. Have some hot cocoa. Throw some marshmallows on there. Put the whipped cream on there. You can't be strict all the time. But if your whole life is a life of not having self-control and not having discipline, and you're justifying it, then that's the problem. So, I do use that 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time I eat clean. Things are in order. I don't really allow any, but I realize when you have kids, you can't just have this rigid, strict life all the time. You have to have some spontaneous. You have to sometimes be like, blow the budget or have a little fun, because there are memories. Now, we don't do Disney. We did in 2015, and after that, I found a lot of, rabbit holes again. We won't support them. I don't agree with a lot of it, and it's overpriced. It's a waste of money. In my opinion, don't get mad if you love Disney. I know some people think it's magical and everything, but I had some really bad experience, especially at Universal Studios. And we don't waste our money on it. And that's just something that we choose not to do. And instead, we use the money for more of an elevated lifestyle. So when you just reposition, yes, you're going to spend the money somewhere. Most people have the house payment, the the 2 cars. Think about it, 2 cars. Maybe the kids are in private school. Maybe they're in college. Maybe both parents are working. You got to take care of the house and the landscaping and the pool and all these things, and the property taxes and the car insurance and all that stuff. Well, it's your choice. I mean, to do all that. But I just started thinking of, why do I need to have all that? Why do I need to do all that? Eventually, we'll buy a house again, but not until we have a season of rest. I want to have a season of rest before I go back into that, because a house is a lot of work. So you have to be willing to make whatever changes that that you need, or that your family needs, or you just feel like God pulling you into a different season. You have to be willing to get things in order so you can reposition and you can let wealth flow. Be willing to give up some of the lower things for some of the better things. And by lower things, look at the ingredients of what you're buying. If you're eating out fast food all the time, you're going to feel like junk. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what I've done in rabbit holes, but to me, it's true. It's just connecting the dots to the truth. So McDonald's, where's all that meat coming from? And where's the meat coming from? You have to think about things. Stop and think about things. Don't just live in this habitual mindset, go, where you're just doing things mindlessly just because somebody told you to do it, or just because it's there. And this is kind of the slow but fast living. It's a slower pace, but you're accomplishing much more because you're not on this rat race of the world. Everybody's on this race to what? To die. Think about it. You're rushing to die, to have as many experiences as you can, to buy as much stuff as you can, to work as hard as you can, to have as big a house as you can, to have all this stuff, to have a closet full of clothes, to one up that person, to what? To die. What's the point of that? So it's just cultivating a different mindset and going through life in an unconventional kind of way. I keep using quotations, sorry, but in a way that's not the ways of the world. You're stopping and thinking before you do something, and you're leaning into God's ways, not the world's ways, and you're slowing down to speed up. You're taking the seasons and the breaks that you need. When you'll know if you're connected to God, you'll know what season that he's trying to move you into. If you can't be go all the time, because again, there's reaping and there's sowing. So you have to know when to reap and when to sow. Well, I'm moving into a sowing season, or a reaping season, because I've been sowing for so long. And so now I'm going into a reaping season, and I feel it, I sense it. So when you feel it and you sense it, you start positioning yourself for that. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm positioning myself, positioning my family, and positioning our life and whatever circumstances that we have control over. But I'm allowing God to breathe his wisdom into me to make those moves, so I know what moves to make. So when that time or opportunity comes, I'm ready because I've prepared for it. Your preparation is there's motivation in that, but you have to know where God's leading you. And this is why it's so important to spend time with him daily, whenever you can. I know life is busy and there's always stuff going on, but again, you don't want to wake up in 5 years and be like, okay, I'm out of shape, exhausted, tons of credit card debt, I hate my marriage, hate my life, have a house I don't want to live in, cars are, you're constantly chasing, and wake up in 5 years and realize I'm a mess. And that's exactly where I was about three years ago. Made that change in January 2023. Within a month of deciding no more, everything changed. The decision was made. We moved, got rid of 80% of our stuff. I changed my diet, changed my health, changed how I spent my money, closed credit cards, not just cut them up, closed them, got rid of bad relationships. I'm not doing any of this anymore, started putting boundaries up, and within a month, I implemented one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And so we're going on 3 years in February of that. And the first year is the most difficult because your old ways are trying to still determine your moves. You catch yourself because you realize, oh, what did I just do? I was up online shopping at midnight, and I just bought junk from some influencer, or I just ate without thinking what I was eating, or I just, whatever it is, you catch yourself. And then the more you catch yourself, you start changing and you start changing and you start changing. And then you start realizing, oh, I need to wake up earlier. I need to go to bed earlier. I need to maybe not drink that, energy drink right when I wake up. Maybe I need to have protein before my caffeine, so you start making the changes. It's not like all those changes happen right because you made the decision, but the decision's the number one thing. And if you don't give yourself a way to go back, it's like you're tricking yourself. Your highest self is then tricking your lowest self because you're not giving yourself a way out. And then you're like, crap. Because you'll be like, you will want to. You'll be like, oh, I want to stay up and watch this movie, or oh, I want to eat that whole gallon of ice cream or whatever. No, going to the gym. Oh, I'd rather eat this, French toast instead of eggs and ground beef or whatever, egg whites. But you start, the more decisions you make towards the person that you want to be, that future self, the more you bring that person into the present, the easier it becomes. And it is a day in and day out thing. And during this time, I would advise you, limit the relationships that are linked to that past self. You have to. It sounds mean, but you have to limit those, because that's the easiest way to get pulled back into that. The person that you used to go, let's just say, for example, you want to you want to clean your house, simplify life, and live with less. And you have a friend or whatever that you'd go thrifting with all the time. Thrifting and coffee and lunch or whatever, and that was your thing. And maybe you go once a week or whatever. Well, for the time that you're simplifying, decluttering, purging, and streamlining your life, you're not going to be able to go with that person all the time. Hey, I can't go. I'm not, I don't need more junk. I don't need to thrift right now or whatever. Maybe it's the person that you drink with. Maybe it's the friend that you have a cocktail with. Hey, I can't go right now after work or whatever. So you have to know, and I'm not saying all the time, but during the time that you're kind of you're turning that ship around, right? During that turn, that's where it's like I would recommend just saying no until you get strong enough to decide, is this what I want or not? Because I bet you, which is what happened with me, I got to the point where I was like, I don't even want those things anymore. Like, my thing was Target. Target. It didn't matter if it was the day after Christmas sale. Every day, every Christmas for 10 years, the day after I was there at 8 a.m., right when they opened, I wanted that half off, filled 2 carts up. I would buy so much stuff and I would think, yes, I won. Putting it on like 3 different credit cards because it was half off, and gift wrap, slippers, things that I didn't need, but I thought, I'm going to gift it, I'm going to save it, I'll use it for different seasons. Literally had gift wrap for 10 years. I ended up giving most of it away because I had so much of it that I didn't need. But that was me. So during the time that I was making these changes, I did not go. I didn't even look. I didn't go online. I didn't care if there was a new drop. I didn't care what Hearth and Hand had or Studio McGee. People would stay up late to get the new Studio McGee stuff because I didn't want. You're making it harder for yourself. This is why, like, if you're trying to lose weight, don't go to the store. Order your groceries. If you need one sweet, grab Alden's organic ice cream if they have. It's more expensive, so you're not going to eat it all in one sitting, but it's like 5 ingredients, and it doesn't have all that junk in it. Like, most of the ice cream now is terrible. It's not even real ice cream. Get yourself one dessert, but a healthy one. Or learn how to make homemade chocolate chip cookies or something like that are, 5-6 ingredients. But don't go into the store, because that's when you're going to be tempted. So whatever it is that you need to deal with it and be one step ahead. Like, you have to be one step ahead of your old self. You have to be. And be willing to make the changes. Start the first of the year if you want, or whatever, if it's too hard right now. But if there's some changes that you can make right now, do it. Don't wait. Start implementing it now. And you'll start the new year. If you start now, you'll be ahead of the game. It's the best way to start is a couple weeks before. But just start and make the changes you have to make and live the life that God has for you to live. And that's it.